Hello, family, and welcome to Black Homeschooling, Black Homeschoolers Unite, and Learning Outside of the Box. So, family, I am Coach Sakile, the proud mama of six beautiful homeschoolers and co founder of Embrace Your Free. With over 2 decades of homeschooling experience, I have had the honor of assisting over 7,000 families on their homeschooling and world schooling paths. I am also the operator of the Empowering a Black Homeschoolers Unite community, and also I'm an author of 10 books dedicated to overcoming obstacles in homeschooling and offering valuable guidance along with a plethora of resources. So make sure, family, that you stay till the end of the podcast for special treats, a free copy of my latest book that provides A to Z steps on getting started with homeschooling. So don't miss out on this opportunity to embark on a rewarding educational journey. So, family, in this podcast, we celebrate the diversity and creativity of Black homeschoolers, showcasing a variety of stories from families who have found their unique path to success. So, homeschooling is all about learning outside the box, rejecting the one size fits all approach to education. And through interviews and conversations, we aim to answer your burning questions about homeschooling and provide inspiration and ideas for your own journey. So, whether you're a Black family curious about homeschooling or simply seeking guidance from experienced homeschoolers, this podcast is the right place for you. So, join us on this exciting venture as we explore the world of Black homeschooling one story at a time. So don't forget that sharing is caring. So please invite a friend or two. So, without further ado, let's embark on the thrilling voyage of learning outside the box, the Homeschooling Chronicles. So, get ready to challenge the norm, broaden your perspective, and embrace the limitless potential of homeschooling out the box. And now it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest, Jacinta. Jacinta is a devoted mother of two children on the spectrum. Which really defies common beliefs by using, you know, their unique needs as a powerful motivation for her to homeschool. So, in her exciting journey, she unveils the remarkable potential of homeschooling, emphasizing its transformative impact and the freedom it brings to personalize and have an inclusive education. So, drawing from her personal experience, Jacinta sheds light on the boundless possibilities of homeschooling as she fearlessly embarked on an extraordinary adventure of RV and living. So, together with her children, she explores diverse destinations across the mainland US, reaching their education through immersive experiences. Having found a new home in the tropical paradise of Hawaii, Jacinta continues to craft an environment of liberation and nurturing for her family. Her dedication to creating a truly liberated education experience really serves as an inspiration for others seeking alternative paths to education. So, additionally, Jacinta is a very loved member of the world class schooling family. Like I tell her, we were just talking, like, I feel like she's a sister from another mister. We are definitely like sisters at the core. And the World Class Schooling Program is a program established by Embrace Your Free to support homeschoolers in traveling the world safely and affordably. And through this program, families gain valuable resources and guidance, enabling them to confidently homeschool their children without the stress and frustration often associated with it. Moreover, the program empowers families to pursue their passion and earn a living by doing what they love from anywhere they choose. So, being a member of this amazing community, further exemplifies Jacinta's commitment to creating a fulfilling and enriching educational journey for her family. So, here we are to introduce the one and only beautiful, amazing Jacinta.
Thank you.
Yay! So
Hi.
happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you. You can hear me okay?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome.
So, I just want to start off. Can you tell me a little bit about why you decided to take this path of homeschooling? Like, what inspired you to take this leap? Because I know it's not necessarily like the go-to for most families.
Yeah, for sure. Ever since I was a kid, to be honest, going through school, I was pretty tortured at school, being one of the only uh, kids of color at an all white school. My family moved around a lot too. So we were kind of poor, broke, and hungry, to be honest.
Mm,
And so we moved a lot. We were constantly getting evicted. And we flip flopped from white communities, like rich white communities, to like all Black communities or all Latino communities. And it went like that, like rich communities, then bloop over to poor communities, rich communities. And everywhere I went, I was tortured. Let's just put it
oh,
that way.
no.
I have a difficult learning style. I'm kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. So I kind of need all three in order for me to get it. And so I had a hard time in school myself, but I'm an overachiever, very ambitious. So I would still like, do my best to get A's. That didn't work out. And I was always picked on. And so ever since I was a kid, I was like, you know what, if I have children, which I don't want, I never wanted kids until my biological clock turned on when I was 35.
Ah,
Um, and that's when I decided, oh, I think kids are for me. But um, I thought if I ever do have children, I'm gonna homeschool them. So I kind of knew that I was never gonna really do school. I just knew better, that it was more about indoctrinating and uh, teaching kids how to obey authority
mm,
and class ranking, right? The popularity contest. It was just, I got it. I knew what it was about. And I
yeah.
thought, if I have kids, I'm not doing this. So
Wow. That's powerful that you knew and you had such a strong like conviction about what you wanted for or didn't want for any potential children you may have had in the future. So that's really powerful. So you were just saying how you had a difficult learning style, which was like a mesh of all the different learning styles. So can you
basically,
tell me now that you're homeschooling, like a little bit about your homeschooling approach or style for your children?
well, I'm definitely in the unschooling, world schooling camp, and I'm about learner centered. So my kids dictate what they're learning. And in my opinion, that's the only way to go because, especially I have an 8-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. And my 8-year-old son I feel he's definitely he's on the spectrum of autism, but he's also, I think he's got ADHD for
Mm,
sure. I have not gotten him diagnosed because I don't need to. It's there. It's very apparent. Um, but he's hilarious. He just flat out refuses. He just
mm,
won't learn. I'm not doing it. He will fight with me. And so and it was the same when I did let him go to school for almost a year in kindergarten because I wanted him to have that option. So I homeschooled all the way up until kindergarten. And I asked him, hey, do you want to try out school? These are the benefits of school. You got other people that you can, your age range that you can kick it with, et cetera, et cetera. He liked the idea. So we started doing it. And he was just a hellion. He was constantly and he comes from a long line of rebel rousers, right? So my father is a Black Panther to this day,
wow.
and and my mom is a freedom loving hippie, wild child, Native American, Indigenous, and um, you know, hairy legs and the whole gambit. And so, and I don't fall too far from the tree, so he is just taught to question authority and to not just take, just take it, to question
Right.
it, to, if it doesn't resonate with you, then you have to go with what you want, right? So he takes that with me, which I'm happy with. And he did that with his teacher. So I was constantly getting called in. And in the
Mm.
morning to get him ready for the bus was a fight. It was just a constant fight. And then he would also, because he's very dynamic and charismatic, he would get the whole class involved.
Oh, so we're just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So
mutiny.
they were like, so they were like trying to separate him all the time. He was always questioning stuff too, like saying like that's racist and that's sexist, and why are you teaching us this, da da da. And it absolutely reminded me of myself. I was constantly in the principal's office for asking, why are you teaching us this? Like, why are you giving us worksheets? I want to learn something, and my teachers are like, to the principal's office with you. So yeah, so after about almost a year of kindergarten, it became real problematic. He had already had a psychologist. He had to have an assistant in the classroom with him. um Trying to do his homework, it was way too much homework. I'm like, he's 5, he
Yeah.
wants to play, he knows what he wants to do. Plus he had a whole little list of things he wanted to focus on for his own education.
Mm. Wow.
So, right, he was just like, Mom,
Dynamic
he was
child.
super interested in black holes and being a YouTube influencer and researching all kinds of stuff with science, robotics, engineering. He's really into math and science, and drawing and art illustration. So he's very well rounded in that way. And I was like, you know what, we're just going to stay home and we're going to follow you. And so I would just ask him, what are you interested in? And then I would modify a curriculum for him. And then that's what we've been doing. And it works really well. He's enrolled in Hooked on Phonics. And when I got the Hooked on Phonics program, it came with a Hooked on Math. So he is doing that, but he only does like a half hour of each a day. And he, he's there, so he
I
learned how
love
to read and write. Yeah, he learned how to read and write already and didn't
brilliant.
have to go to school, and that was his big issue too. He's like, why are we spending so much time on this one thing? I got it. I don't need
Yes.
to repeat this for day after day after day. So the Hooked on Phonics was perfect because he ingested it and that's it. And so I was really concerned at first that he wouldn't learn how to write and read,
Mm.
but he learned way faster. And so the rest of
Right.
his day, he gets to do what he wants, and we live in Hawaii. So we are constantly, him on his scooter, me on my bike, or we go out hiking, we go to the farmer's market. He comes with me to do things. I kind of just, the way that I'm homeschooling is life schooling,
Oh, I love
so
it.
that he learns, how to do dishes because that's what we're doing. He learns how to count because we're at the grocery store, and so he's learning and getting practice every day in life.
Experiential learning.
Yeah,
Yes, life
now he's learning how to open doors for women,
oh,
and well, everybody really. But I'll just stand there at the door and I'll look over at, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's my job. So, so he's learning all kinds of things and it's beautiful. But mostly, to be honest, physical. It's mostly physical stuff. We do
he's
go
a
to the park
very,
every day. Yeah, he's super physical,
very
active.
kinesthetic learner.
I think he's a
Yeah.
lot like me too, in the sense of having a difficult learning style because he doesn't actually click right away.
Hmm. You're getting
Hi,
love.
Florence. Thank you. Um, Thank you. And so when he was 3, I was living in Hawaii, and in 2018 the lava happened right by my house, and we were not in threat of the lava, but there was a lot of fog in the neighborhood, and I just got the call from Spirit, sell everything, get an RV, go visit family on the mainland, and just travel and visit different
Nice.
intentional communities and get your socialization. I was looking for an intentional community to go live in because I believe
Wow.
in community living.
Yes.
So we took to the road. That was amazing. We were there from 2018. I came back here in 2022, September of 22.
It's like a
So we
4 year
were
trip.
gone for, yeah. And so we started in Portland where I got the RV. And then we went down to California, posted there for a little bit, visited my family. and then went over to Tucson, posted there for like a good year in this really gorgeous community called Sacred Earth, in like 30 minutes out of Tucson. Did a
Okay.
lot of cool stuff there. I was doing ecstatic dances because I'm a creative and an
Mhm.
entertainer as well. That's kind of my side self. Um, and so when I landed on this property, all the community was like, uh, "What's your vision?" And I went,
Mm,
"Well, y'all have a really great space. You have these gorgeous domes. Like, this is a venue. You need to host retreats and have ecstatic dances. And that's my dream for my property and my tribe in the future." And everyone was like, "Let's do it." So they did it, and it was bomb. And
wow.
yeah, it was really, really nice. The only problem is that the owner, he does this to everyone, I heard, but he ended up just wanting creative control,
Yeah.
and so he kind of started kiboshing things, I think, because it wasn't
Mm,
his deal, like it was everybody else.
yeah.
So, and
So
I get
ego
that.
got involved.
Yeah, we're still great friends though. He's not a bad person, it's just
That's
his
normal.
property. And
Yes.
yeah, and I think he just wanted it to be his idea because
Yes.
it was so popular, and he was getting so much props from all the community. And they're like, "This your idea?" He's like, "No," So, but regardless, it was our time to move on. And so we ended up taking the RV over to Nevada and up to Pacific Northwest. Beautiful little road trip up that way. So nice. I love RV living,
RV.
and I love driving an RV. I love being up high in an RV. You get to see everything. Oh, it's gorgeous. And then we ended up in Olympia, and same thing happened. I landed on this intentional community, but the landlord there was like, "Hey, I've had visions of someone like you, an indigenous woman who speaks to the land and speaks to the ancestors. And I think you're supposed to run this place." So he gave me the keys in a
Wow.
weird kind of land back initiative, and he left. All the white people that was there in the community didn't want to take any kind of direction or lead, take leadership from a woman of color, especially because I was going to be turning it into a venue for um, people of color, a
Mm,
cultural event space where we could come together, have gatherings, share our culture, and teach workshops and host retreats, have dances, open mic. And so I started doing those things, and they were like, "We're out."
amazing.
But then
Yeah.
the zoning happened, and we ended up pushing on from there too. And it was like, I got to go back to Hawaii, which has always felt like my home base.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm here now, and I would love to get a property with other like-minded tribe. I'm calling it in, and
Yes.
have that cultural space where we can come hold space for our evolution, because we have so much ancestral trauma to work through, and togetherness. We really need each other. And so
Absolutely.
that's my big um,
You're
goal.
yeah,
It's my
it's a
big
big
goal to
vision.
have
It
a
sounds
big
like you're like
property.
a visionary, and wherever you go, you bring your vision and drop the seeds and it blossoms, but it's not like in your space. So then it's like it's
Yeah, has a
time to
benefit.
move on, and then you drop seeds and then it blossoms. And so I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm looking
here we
forward
are.
to have your thing where it could blossom. So you've been actually having a really great impact on the world. Yes, a sister said, yes, we are here to recreate our tribe.
Right?
Yes,
Very much, very
I
much.
love it. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey. Can you tell me about during this time that you've been homeschooling, some of the perks that you've seen for your family, like the upsides, the benefits that
Not
have
having to
been?
catch the school bus, okay? Because I was not good with that. We were running out the house every day. "I'm gonna get your shoes," you know?
Definitely a perk. You have your own
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah, being able to just go with our flow. So
Yeah.
seriously, my son, he's so cute. Some days he'll wake up and he'll just want to coast on the couch, just looking up at the sky. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm so
Oh,
glad he's not trapped to a desk right now,
yes.
having to like get information, like what, and
Yes.
not having the authoritarian, just everybody telling him what to do. I noticed in that one little year that he was in I noticed that in that one little year that he was in kindergarten, that his self-esteem plummeted.
I've seen
I
that.
can't. He went from being a confident kind of know-it-all boy to
Being down
I
and
don't know anything. I'm
downtrodden.
calling himself stupid. He was calling
Wow.
himself stupid. He was saying, I don't know anything. He started to have like shrunk shoulders. He wasn't, we'd go to the park. He wouldn't go run up to other kids like he usually did. I was like, what's
Mm,
going on here? And it's because he would get picked on at school, right? There's that popularity stuff. He had to take the bus with middle school kids, and they would always poke fun at the younger elementary school kids, and just all
mm,
the same political dynamics that I had growing up.
mm.
And I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to put him through this, but I just can't. Countless perks. Being able to wake up in the morning and go to the beach and just stay at the
Yes.
beach. And then he's walking up to me, Mom, look at this sea creature that I found, and what is it? Let's look it up. And, just
Amazing.
so, yeah,
Teachable
every
moments
day.
everywhere,
Oh,
all
and him
day.
telling me one of the biggest perks yesterday. I wake up in the morning, he goes, Mom, did you know that you can fit this many Earths into the sun? And did you know that if Jupiter and Saturn collided, it would look, and he's like, did you know that actually Saturn already was hit with an asteroid and that's why it's tilted on its axis? He's like sitting there schooling me. And I'm like, he
Wow.
would have never been able to learn this if he was stuck in like what, third grade now? He'd be in third
Yeah.
grade, you know.
Wow.
So lots of perks.
Yes,
Yeah.
it sounds like it. So it's like you're on your flow, you are in sync with your personal uh, calendar and
Yes.
timetables and schedule. And then sounds like his self-esteem has increased drastically after leaving that environment.
We're
And
working on it. We're
oh,
working on it.
he's still
Mhm.
having some
His,
residual
believe
effects.
it or not, he's happy. And the reason I signed up for your world class schooling program, plug, is because he's happiest when we're traveling. He is
Mm,
full confident. When we're traveling, he is on top of the world. We just had to take a trip to Oahu for a doctor's appointment, and he was
nice.
lit the whole time, getting to be on a plane, getting at the airport, just being by my side. And I thought, this is the life for us. We got to get back on the
Yes,
road for sure. He's gonna glow.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, it sometimes does take some time because I noticed from me being in school, my self-esteem really plummeted and still
Same.
it's
Yeah.
not, you know, the level of my children. My children are so confident. I'm just like, can I just get like
Yay,
pinch
them.
off a little bit of your confidence? It's
Yeah. I mean, imagine a
amazing.
life of getting to grow up without all that hierarchical indoctrination and
Yeah,
shaming and trying to fit in.
exactly.
They're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. They are blessed. Hopefully, I'm like, have them replay this, like, see how blessed you are. Okay. So we talked about
Don't
all
forget
the
it.
benefits, but we know that homeschooling, even though it's a beautiful journey, wonderful experiences, so many perks, there are obstacles. So can you share some of the obstacles that you went through in your homeschooling journey and how you were able to overcome them?
Hmm. Well, I guess the only real obstacle that I found was when I was trying to enforce some sort of standardized curriculum on
Mm,
him. Like, oh, you're supposed to be at this level, so we're going to go ahead and inundate you with, get some workbooks and try to sit you down and do what they do to you at school. That did not work. And so
mm,
that was hell. That was really hard for me. It didn't work. And I was like, dang, I might need to put him back in school so they can force him to do this. And
mm,
then I did more research and I found um, unschooling and learner centered education. And I thought, oh, wait, duh, that makes more sense. So Key, what are you interested in? And then he's like, I'm interested in this and this. I want to learn this. I want to become a master at that and this. And I was like, oh, okay. Now there's your curriculum. And then it was easy. Yeah. Then it was super easy. And it's fun too, because now I'm just like, all right, cool. You're going to have some screen time. You can look up science stuff, and then I'll set him up on, on his, like we'll go do the research together and he'll be like, I want to see that video or I want to learn I want to watch that documentary and whatever. And then we have like our science projects, things like that.
Fun.
And then art, I had a huge whiteboard for my business, like the whole wall, and I blocked off the bottom for him to just draw
Mm,
all day. And let me tell you, he was on
fun.
that thing all day. And now he has a different whiteboard that he can carry around with him. But
That is phenomenal. I love it.
oh, and I
Yes,
guess the
go
state, hold up,
2017.
there's one more. The state, I guess, was also a little bit of a complication.
Mhm.
Um, where like there's state regulations here in Hawaii, they're actually a lot worse. They're
Mm.
you have to have the nearby school's principal authorize you to homeschool.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
and that's if you register as a homeschool parent, that's if you
Oh.
register him as being homeschooled. I have not registered him.
Oh, so but you can set your homeschooling up as a private school, and then he
There's
can
thing, yeah,
be
you can do stuff like that too. When we were in Washington, I didn't have any problem. I just pulled him out of school. So I filled out the paperwork. I signed up with an organization called Homeschool Lawyers Direct. You know what? I don't know. It's HSL.
HSLDL,
A
homeschool, yeah, HSLDA.
HSLDA
Mhm,
dot org maybe, but I
mhm, that's it.
highly, highly, highly recommend these people because they're good. They're lawyers. There's a team of
Yeah.
lawyers. They know their stuff. A lot of them have been homeschooled, like they're homeschool kids, and they uh, they just go to bat for you. They will send you the
Yeah.
paperwork that you need. They will tell you the right angle to take with your state. They
Mhm.
just hold your hand. And then if anything does happen where the state's trying to come down on you, they'll go to bat for you as your actual lawyer. They'll even go to court with you. And it's a super inexpensive membership. It's like $12 a month or something.
Yes,
And
yes.
so that was helpful because I just went to them and I was like, what do I need to tell these people? And they were like, fill out this paper, do this. I was like, okay. And it was done. Right.
No.
So that
Let's
was
see if I
nice.
can put it down. It's Homeschool Legal Defense Association, and
Okay.
I shout them out all the
Oh, you do?
time. Yes,
I
and
was so
when you
happy
get
to
to
find
the
them.
yes, because we talk about them in the World Class Schooling Program. So it's home, I think it's Homeschool
Yeah.
Legal Defense Association.
They're nice people too. I've talked to a bunch of different folks over there, and they're all real
Okay, I
kind.
think, yeah, they are. So if anyone needs help, go to people. So that is awesome. Thank you for sharing your journey when it comes to the obstacles. Another obstacle we haven't really dived in, you touched on it a little bit. A lot of families have come to me like concerned that they're not able to homeschool their children because their children are on the spectrum or their children have dyslexia or children have other. Can you just speak a little bit about, you know, how you're able to still decide to homeschool and maybe might be the reason to homeschool. Can you dive into
Yeah.
that a little bit?
Well, them being on the spectrum was the impetus for me to homeschool, to be honest.
Mm,
My son having difficulty, and then just being such a dynamic individual, I didn't want to suppress him because the way that I see kids on the spectrum, it's kind of funny. I channeled because I'm a psychic medium and a life coach, but I had a client a long time ago, like 90 or sorry, like 2006, 2008, 2008. She had a shop right next to my shop and she was an autistic counselor and she
mm,
worked with just families with children who had autism. Okay, this was way before I had any kids.
mhm,
And she wanted me to do a reading for her about what is autism, like what is it, and fill me in so that I can be even better. She was the master, she was the top of her industry already. And I think that reading was like an hour and a half, and it blew me
wow,
away. It absolutely blew me away. And what I discovered in that is that these souls that are autistic are actually just a little bit technically higher vibrational. They're
mm,
maybe more ancient, souls, but they're just higher vibrational. And so when they're incarnated into these bodies and into the system that we're in, that's
Yeah.
a slave system, right? And very sad. Like, sorry, that's the vibrate.
Yes.
That's the
Yes,
frequency.
a very
The
low.
base
Yeah.
frequency is like,
Yeah.
right. So these kids
Exactly.
come into that and they're like, hi, like, no, no, something fuzzy.
Yes.
Give me something fuzzy. I need to, right? They can't handle the vibration, right?
Mhm.
They're
Makes
higher.
sense.
And what I was told in that reading is that the reason they're coming in such droves is because they will push society to change
Mm.
in a good way, right? Because we're going to
Powerful.
have to accommodate them. We're going to have to become
Yeah.
softer. We're going to have to become more Taoist. We're going to
Mm.
have to honor these higher vibrational frequencies, be more sensitive, be more calm, be more pleasant, be more
Yes.
affirming, and then they're fine, right?
Mhm.
They feel fine when things are nice and chill, nice and pleasant, very affirmative, cozy, feel good, because that is the promise of this planet, right? We just
Mhm.
haven't gotten there yet. In some pockets, right? I'm trying to make a pocket of
You're
pleasantry
doing
on this
it.
planet, a pocket of pleasantry on this planet. And so that's my aim. I'm like, oh, okay, I have autistic children, classic. I need to ensure that they can vibe. I need to just honor their frequency, honor their desires, honor their flow, and I can't be putting them in school because of
Right.
that. That's not going to support their evolution or the genius that they came with,
Right. They
whatever
are brilliant.
skills. That's the thing about autistic people, right? Is that they
Mhm.
are savants, right?
Mhm.
Too. It's like they don't have these skill sets that would make them cope in our shitty world.
Yeah, they're
And
social sometimes
right,
because our society is, what it
yeah.
is. So, of
Hmm.
course, their social skills may not be aligned with what's going on here. So,
Hmm.
makes
But
sense.
they have other kind of mastery skills available to them
Absolutely.
because of that. It's like when you lose one sense, your other senses are pronounced. I think that's kind of what I've
Mhm.
seen with autistic people. And so, yeah, so that's, um, I hope that answered your question.
Yes,
I
you
don't even remember the question.
did. Yeah, we were just talking about challenges and how you were able to, how other families have chosen not to homeschool or they don't think they can because they say their children's on the spectrum or their child is nonverbal or their child is dyslexic
Hmm.
or other
My
things or
mhm.
ADHD. So,
My 2-year-old is nonverbal. She's way more on the spectrum than her brother. She's currently not walking. She's over 2. She turned 2 in March. And she's nonverbal, but she is telepathic AF. Okay, I
mm,
know exactly what she needs and what she wants no matter what, period.
mm.
I know exactly what she wants and what she needs all the time because she's very telepathic. She'll just look at me and I'm like, okay, you're thirsty. Oh, you did finish your bottle. Like, okay, here we go. And she's very active. So she will crawl on anything. And we have a trampoline and she's on that jumping all day. She squawks and she sings and she likes to dance. And she's just powerful. She's a powerhouse. She's very physical, kind of constantly moving all day. So where I'm at with her is okay, she's not talking, so she's
Right.
moving. So I
Yeah.
got her a climbing dome. I got the trampoline for her. We go every day to the park. She's in the stage of educational development of her physical body. That's what
Mm.
her thing is right now. And so I can do that. I don't need school to do that.
Yes. And
She
I love
needs
that you
outdoor time.
honor her journey where she is versus trying to push her, like, before she's ready to, but you just provide
It took
everything
her.
so that she can excel at her
Mhm.
path because we know
Yeah.
what we need to do. When she's ready to walk, she will walk.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was the same with crawling. It took her forever to crawl. People were concerned, oh no, she's not crawling, or she's not crawling yet. How come she's not crawling yet? And I was like, she will. She's a heavy girl. She knows her boundaries. She's just smart. That's the weird thing about autistic. It's like I think there's this projection that they are less
Mm.
than normal. And I think there may be more than normal. And so I would look at her and I'm like, hey baby, why don't you crawl? And she would just give me this look like when I'm ready. Like I'm not ready yet. I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall on my face. I know what I'm doing. She was a heavy baby. So she would, when her arms were strong and could handle her weight, boom, she started crawling. And it was like lightning. She immediately started crawling, and then she was crawling everywhere, climbing up on stuff. She's constantly standing and cruising. So it's not, she doesn't have a problem with her legs, why she's not walking. Everyone's like, oh my God, she's 2 and she's not walking. I'm like, yeah, not yet. Not her
Yeah,
thing.
each one of our children are different. And so that's the thing. I don't believe in the one size fits all anything. And think that we all have our own unique path that we came into this world. And so when we homeschool our children, especially as we unschool, we're able to honor our children's unique gifts that they bring to the world, their unique
Yeah, and
visions
that's the
they have
point.
for their life, and really cultivate the genius that they're born with. Like one of the
Mhm.
things that when our children came into the world, I can see how brilliant they are and how wise their souls were. And I'm just like, okay, please just like not let me mess them up.
Right. Same.
Like not mess them up, and then to be there to provide them as a guidance to what
Hmm.
they want to do in this lifetime. Like they know what they want. They have certain interests. Like there's things that they're already pulled to that there's interest.
Yeah,
But let me like be the one to give them the resources and provide the environment so they can not just survive but thrive
yeah.
and really just take things to the next level for their life. So and I see you're doing just that, which is
Yes,
beautiful.
I am doing my best. I am not perfect, but I am doing my best.
Yes, and that's all you can do, super mom.
Yes.
So I
Hmm.
have another question for you.
Okay.
So for all those parents out there that, they're on the cusp, they're thinking about homeschooling, like what is some advice that you would give to beginner homeschoolers? Like think people that are interested in diving into this lifestyle.
Actually, I have a few things. One, know that you can do it. Know that you can do it. That's a big one. Just know you can do it. Two, know that your children will be better for it because they really, really are. My son is always grateful and thanking me. Um, and then three, get yourself get your curriculum organized. So for me, what it was before I pulled him out of school, I had already had that talk with him. Like, if you weren't in school, what would you want to focus on all day? And it
Mm,
was part just being physical, being outside. We were on 8 acres in Olympia, so we had gorgeous outdoor everything, right? So we were constantly trampling around in the woods and digging in the dirt and following animals and tracking them. um, and so that's what he wanted to do. He's like, I just want to be outside. I'm like, yes, you do. Of course you do. Instead of, what was it? I think he had a 20 minutes altogether of recess, 2 10-minute recesses, and
that's
then like a half
criminal.
hour lunch. I agree. And it's what it is here. I mean, that's just how they do it.
Yeah.
It's an indoctrination process. I'm not deluded. So, get everybody comfortable with sitting at a desk for long hours at a time. So that's what I would say to homeschool parents. Like, really, or parents that are considering it, really consider the pros and the cons of keeping your kids in school and what you're going to get at the end. Because what I realized is that putting kids through school, kind of training them to that desk and pummeling them with what you want them to learn, which a lot of it is a name at this point.
Yeah.
And then at 18, going, all right, you're out of the house. What you want to do with your life? It's like, I never got to pursue any of my hobbies for real, because I had weekends and after school when I'm tired and I got all this homework. So I don't know myself. I've just been this I've just been like, I don't know. And so it feels like a setup,
Yeah.
right? So what are they going to do at 18? I want to work at Foot Locker. I want to make money. I want to kick it with my friends on the weekends, right? And they
Mm,
just insert right into the slave system. Now you
yeah,
work for the man, and now you work for the man, right?
yeah,
That's what they. So the way I know my son is going to have a business by the time he's 10. Like
yeah.
I'm sure of it because he's very business minded, and he just has ideas. And I'm like, you could monetize that actually. And he's like, let's do it because he's a Taurus, so he's all about money anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And he wouldn't be able to have like everything that he has learned. He wouldn't have learned all this if he was chained to a desk all day. So, so I think I just really sit with yourself and think, can I know I can do it? My kid is going to benefit from it in the long run. I'm going to have a lot more time with my child, and we're going to have that connection, because I think that's another thing that school does is it takes the authority away from the parents and it puts it on these randos.
Couldn't say
And
it
then the
better.
kids learn to respect and like, adhere to the randos that have the title and the uniform, right? And also, like here in Hawaii, they make them wear uniforms too, the kids.
Mhm.
Everybody's blue shirt. And I can't get down with that either, because I'm all about individuality, your divine expression, because I do believe in destiny, and I believe that we are all made in God's image. We are here to create, we are creator, and our thoughts, feelings, and actions are creating our reality. So I want my children to own their God selves, express their God selves from the get, not wearing a blue shirt like everybody else. It doesn't resonate. And so that's what I would say. Like, really think about where you want your kids to be when they're 18. Do you want
Yeah.
them, what am I going to do with myself? Or do you want them to get started now? What I was researching, I found all these homeschool parents, and specifically unschool parents,
Mhm.
that were letting their children dictate the curriculum based on their interests and passions, that most all of those kids were working for themselves by the age of 16,
Yeah, absolutely.
period, because they were able to focus on their passions, right? So this one's like a famous muralist at the age of 16. This one straight up already went to pilot school and now he's going to be a pilot.
Yeah.
This person's over here doing martial arts training with this guru. And it's like, if you're really allowing your kid to pursue their passions, they're not going to just sit around playing video games. They're
No.
not. They are going to actually pursue what they're interested in, although they might fight you to play video games all day. That's the thing.
Well, but sometimes maybe their children are gonna be coders or whatever, but we'll
Right.
see.
And that's
But
the thing
yeah,
too.
you can get your children would have gotten their 10,000 hours of mastery in by the time you said, like, they're 16 because they started
Yeah, and
so
so when you're
early.
14,
So,
your wheels start turning, right? When you're 15, you're like independent. You want to be independent. By the time you're 16, you're gearing up for life. By the time you're 18, your business has been established, right?
yeah,
Your life purpose, your path. And so you're really allowing your kid to you set them up for success by homeschooling if you do it, in the way that honors their passions. Yeah.
absolutely. So I wanna
I get
segue. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, there's one other thing though that I do have to say. I am lucky that I work for myself though.
You were gonna get into
Because
that.
that's yeah, okay, cool, go ahead then. Because I'm
No,
like,
you were like,
wait.
you know, I was just segueing. I was like, as we're talking about business, let's talk about your business. That's another question
Oh,
that a
that's
lot of
okay.
family members want to know. Like, your homeschooling, is it just you right now that's providing for the family?
Yes, it is just
So, like,
me. I'm
how
a
are you
single mom.
doing it? Okay, so you're
Yeah.
a single mom.
I
So
How I'm
how
doing
are
it,
you able to do this, like, financially?
I have an arrangement with their father.
Okay,
Because he is not a provider. That's why we're not together. He's not a provider, and that's fine. That's neither here nor there. But he does co-parent. And
okay,
so I'm able to do what I'm able to do because he does help with co-parenting. And so when my children are with their father, then I can work, right?
okay,
So that's what I would say. Get you a babysitter. So I also have a babysitter, for those times that I need to work, but I am fortunate enough that um, I do make a good living when I do work. And so I don't have to work a whole shit ton to make,
mhm.
the money to pay the bills. So my hours working aren't that I'm not so exhausted. It's not like a 40-hour work week for me, thankfully.
How?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I can also set them up, like when my daughter's taking her nap and my son can have his screen time, and then I can go take a client, go rest, do self-care, so but it took me a while to get it balanced out, and it took a lot of negotiation with the father and also having to go get a babysitter.
Gotcha.
But you do what you got to do, and you'll
Yeah.
make it work.
Teamwork.
I don't have family or friends here. That's why I'm looking for a tribe. If I had aunties and uncles and grandma and grandpa, trust, it would be a lot easier, a
Mm.
lot easier. I wouldn't have had to jump through those hoops, or even just a partner who
Yeah.
is, here with me as a partner, right?
Yes. Gotcha.
Calling that
Okay.
in.
Yes, like that
Definitely.
happened. So tell me a little bit about your business. Like, I would love to know. We want to know how, like,
Okay.
what you're
Well, I have two
doing.
businesses. I have been a spiritual life coach, psychic medium, for a while now. I was always psychic, growing up. I just was tapped in accidentally because my childhood was hardcore. Lots of, chaos, poverty, abuse, neglect. Ultimately, I was abandoned at 10. No fault to my
Mm,
parents. They had their thing. They were going through, right. I get it. But regardless, I had a lot of struggle and suffering. So my spirit guides came through, my ancestors came through real early, being like,
mm,
duck, go left, don't listen to him, take a right, go through that tunnel. So I pretty much was, tapped into my spirit team from a real young age. And then when I was in 2008, 2003, I channeled the book Waking of the Warriors, a manual for the masters and masses,
mhm,
which was 3 years before The Secret. And it busts on the law of attraction. I didn't call it
mhm.
that, but I was homeless at the time. And I would get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning with these profound words that I had never heard of
Wow.
before. And I was like, wow, that was deep. And then I'd try to go back to sleep and they would repeat in the exact same form. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, I think I'm supposed to be writing this down. So that's when I channeled the book. It was from 2000 to 2005. Finally got it published in or copyrighted, whatever, in 2006. And or no, it was in 2005. And then I just started applying it to my life. I just
Mm,
applied every little piece of what I learned. And that's when I fully awakened to my gift. And I just started reading for everybody, for free. I was just like, hey, let me read for you. Let me read for you. And I was talking to dead people and getting more codes, getting more understanding of the earth game and the matrix, and what's going on, world history, mysteries solved. It was intense. So then people started paying me, and they were like, girl, I gotta pay you. Then it was like, can you life coach me? Because I'm seeing you consistently. So you got something like that. So then I created my website. It was from demand. And then in 2013, I same thing happened with my other business, Green
let's
Magic.
drop the link to the first one. So
Okay,
is that
that's
the
path2insight.com. Yeah, that's
okay.
my website. And nobody is turned away. So just for the record, I have discounts, payment plans, all of the above, so that I can see anybody. Um, and I love my clients. Yeah, I love my clients, and it's amazing. I results guaranteed. Okay, I'm just saying, like, yes. Um, and then in 2013, I had some arthritis because I'd been biking a lot, and I had some arthritis in my knee. And my friend took off with my icy hot and didn't return. So I was like,
Oh,
dang, what am I gonna do? And my spirit guides, they were like, girl, you have something in your closet. You can make your own icy hot. And I like essential oils and I like dabbling, but I'm no herbalist, by any means. But I went and I opened up my cupboard and I straight up had three essential oils: clove, eucalyptus, and peppermint.
ooh,
And I
that's a good
studied them
one.
for a little while and I went, oh, there you go. I can make an icy hot with those three. So I mixed them up and voila, I came up with this amazing arthritis ointment that then turned into having 40 other uses. And that's why we call it
Wow.
green magic. In the beginning, my friends and family were calling it the Jesus. But how it started, So it was like, oh, hey, can I borrow that green magic for my knees or my elbow? And then it was like, hey, I'm using it on my cuts and my scrapes and my burns and my nausea, my cramps, my skin. So it reduces like fine lines. So you can use it like beauty topical, but it's
Mm,
also like a deodorant, it's a mosquito repellent, it's a sunburn cream, and
wow.
it's a sunscreen as well. So you can use it before you go out into the sun. And then if you do get burned, you can use it afterwards. You can use it as a mosquito repellent, but if you do get bit and because you didn't put it on before, you can use it afterwards for a bite itch. And so how it started is people just were using it for everything and coming and
Wow.
telling me. And I'm like, wait, it does what? And they're like, girl, it does this. I'm like, it does what? So then I was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? And neighbors, friends of their neighbors were coming, trying to buy it from me. I was always having my bottles cleared out. So then I was like, okay, I think this again, I gotta go into business with this. People want it. So then I started selling it at the farmer's market, and then I created the website. And so
Nice.
now
Let me
yeah,
see if I can
um,
share it while you're talking. Okay, we're
and
gonna
that's
do
Green
something
Magic
new.
528.
Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna see.
yeah, and it only has 5 ingredients. They're all organic. And I just have the oil and the
Mm,
salve. I make a salve too, which is
okay.
just added beeswax. So it's all benign.
Mm,
hmm Coconut oil, hemp seed oil, clove, eucalyptus, and peppermint. And surprise, surprise, it's amazing.
nice.
And it's a great facelift too. And there it is. I made that logo myself.
Amazing. It's
Thanks.
beautiful. Yes. So here is the different green magic formulas. Please support to get these amazing results, right?
Thank you.
And it's all natural, powerful. Yes, I am a big component of all of this. So,
Yeah,
yes,
people go,
amazing.
yeah, it's definitely legit. I love it. I use it every day, all day. It's no joke. We use it all day. It
Wow.
really has. And just to be honest, it's actually saved us from going to the hospital on
Wow.
a number of occasions. Yeah, because you can gouge yourself open and be howling in pain and just squirt it right into the wound. It'll take away the pain immediately, stop
Wow.
the bleeding, keep it sanitized, and then over time it'll heal. So it's stitches. It's like
Amazing.
stitches
We
at
have
home. It's trippy.
everything we need is right here, and then you create this magical formula for it. So, yes, which
If people
without
who
all the
it
side effects
Yeah,
and all the
right.
harsh chemicals,
Especially as a sunscreen, because I've been using it on my babies and they're white, their dad's white and native. And so they're more pale. And I've been using them since they were babies, right? Babies.
Mm,
And um uh no impact on the coral reef. And they never get sunburned.
wow.
Never ever get sunburned.
Wow.
And plus you get a
Powerful.
nice golden tan on top of it. Yeah.
Nice. Amazing. I'm gonna see about sharing your other site too now that I figured it out. So,
Okay. Nice. Thank you.
yes. Okay. So I'm going to share paths of
Path to
insight with
insight.
path to insight. Here we go. And also,
Thank
if you have
you.
questions, this is the time to ask.
Yes, please.
So we got a lot of love for you in the
Oh, thank you,
chat.
everyone. Oh, thanks, everyone.
So here is the site. Jacinta Harris, second medium and life coach.
Oh, and I have
Schedule
this,
now.
the
Mhm.
psychic development course is free. It is
Nice.
what I learned when I learned I was
Okay.
supposed to be doing this work. My grandfather on my father's side came through and he said, hey, we need to talk to you. And when I went in there, I was planning to go get my PhD at the History of Consciousness in Santa Cruz because I'm an academic. I have 2 master's degrees and a bachelor's degree. And they pulled me in to a meeting basically, and they showed me all this stuff. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? And they're like, you're supposed to do this for people. You're not supposed to go off and get your PhD
Mm,
right now. And and what I learned in that, we're all born psychic. We are all
mhm.
born psychic, but there are barriers to it, right? And
Yeah.
so they taught me what those barriers were and to how to move past them so that I could become a pristine, very accurate, detailed psychic all the time. And now I offer that. Well, I've been offering it since 2008, but I offer it for free because it was free to me, and I believe that it is our birthright, and we all should be tapped into that, that source creator that we are. We have that connection to the divine. We can be talking to the divine all day, every day, like me, and I have the edge because of it. Right?
Mhm.
It's the way to live. It's very mystic. It's very magical. It's a very magical way of living, you know, to be able to hear your ancestors, on tap, right? Just psst, go left. Like, no, no, no.
Right.
We want to do this. Hey, we have an idea for you. Hey, here's an
Yeah.
opportunity, right? Like the
Yeah.
green magic. I straight up didn't create that. People are like, how'd you create this? I had an herbalist who went to school for it. He's one of my clients at the time. I sent it to him. He has his own organic plant oil where he manufactures oils for the big companies. Of course, I had him do um, an agreement where he wouldn't, a confidentiality agreement. Anyway, when he got it, he was like, you know what you're doing? You know what you're doing? He's like, you're doing what we're not supposed to do. You're
Mm,
mixing something, I don't know what they teach you, right? But basically, they taught him in school to not mix those particular
mm.
oils together, right? And so I think that's it. It's just you have the edge when you tap into your psychic ability, your natural born psychic ability, and you actually use it. You don't have to go read for people for a living. It's for you to have that connection.
Exactly.
It's our first
So
birthright,
important.
in my opinion.
Yes, and that's something we should all teach our children to get in touch with our intuition,
Yeah,
our gut, our spirit, whatever you like to call it. But all of us have it,
yeah,
these God-given gifts. So, or
yeah. My
creator
son is full
source
blown.
given. Yeah,
He's full
absolutely.
blown psychic. He's constantly tripping me out. Isn't that
Yes, these
funny?
babies will. They will. So we have a question. Someone said, maybe I missed it. How many hours per week do your children homeschool? Is there a set schedule or random? So,
Yeah, it is a little bit set schedule in the form of we wake up and we have our morning routine and then we get outside immediately. So first thing in the morning, we do go for a walk or we go for a bike ride, depending on the weather. Sometimes we'll go to the beach and just kind of post all day. He gets a half hour of the Hooked on Phonics math and a half hour of the Hooked on Phonics reading, writing. He has a workbook too, that he hates doing, but we do that. That's it. It's just a half hour of both every day at some point in the day, according to the flow. And it works really well because he doesn't ever feel pressured or pushed like he's going upstream, and but we're still hitting our points of what he needs academically and then developmentally, which in my opinion at 8 years old is lots of outside time, lots of socialization time with other friends, other people. Yeah.
brilliant. I think that's all the questions.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, it
Nice.
was pretty
Well, if anyone has any other
simple.
questions, they can reach out to me too, because you have all
Yeah.
my contacts.
Yes, I put it up there and I'll make sure that when we blast it out to everyone, we'll have all your links in there so they can definitely
Oh,
get in contact with you.
sorry, and
Yes.
I wanted to just answer a little bit more on that question. And then the other curriculum that he's learning is all self-paced. So when he says, like, "Hey, mom, can I get on and study black holes?" Or "Hey, I want to study robot," this one robot thing I wanted to look at that. Then we move into that. Yeah.
That's
Yes,
amazing.
and traveling and observation is the best teacher. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Like experiential learning, using the world as your classroom, life as a
Yeah.
teacher.
Because kids
So,
will. They'll be all over it.
mm,
It's amazing how trying to keep my kids in the house and trying to entertain them, right? And I'm running all over the place, like here, in here, oh here, and then I just take them out to an open field with like some trees, and then I sit down and
It's
nature is their
just
teacher.
yes, and you're like
My son's over
zen.
there, "Mom, look at
Yeah.
this bark. What kind of tree is this? You know, look at this bug." My daughter's like, you know, just bouncing all over the grass. I'm like, "Mom's gonna take a nap."
Yes, I love it. That's so perfect. That's exactly stress-free homeschooling.
Yeah.
You just paint the picture, but they're learning so much and they're having
Yes.
fun. And you're
Yes.
having a good time and you're learning
Yes.
too because you're like, huh, I don't know what
Mhm.
this bark to this tree is. Let me look it up. Oh no, I
Yeah,
know
I've learned a
something
lot.
new. Right? I'm
Mhm.
loving learning too. Well, this has been a pleasure. It
Me too,
is,
sis.
yeah, it's been as an absolute joy just hearing your story. I've learned so much. Every time I speak to you, I feel like I'm expanded, which is a
Oh,
beautiful thing. And
mhm.
I know from the comments that the community was really, really appreciative for your story. It was
Awesome.
exactly what
Thank
they
you for
needed to
having me.
hear at this time. Yes. Thank
Okay.
you for being present and sharing all these amazing gems with us.
Okay, thank
So,
you. My
yes,
pleasure, my honor. I am so grateful that you invited me into this. Thank you, thank you. And thank you
yes.
all. So much love to you all. And I hope to hear from you in some capacity. This future tribe, you know. I want to have a co-creative property where multiple people share the deed on
Mm,
a large
brilliant idea.
acreage. And we
Mhm.
have retreats and we have dances and we have gatherings and we grow food and raise our kids together, old school village status, you know. I know that's the meaning of life. So anyone else in alignment, please reach out to me.
Yes, I'm feeling it. 100%. I love it. Awesome sauce. This was amazing. And
Okay,
family, just stick around for a moment because I have some free giveaways to give to you.
that's nice.
And yeah, so we will see you.
Okay,
Thank you
aloha.
again. Aloha.